Hello.
Oh, hello, you're there.
Totally forgot we were doing this tonight.
Hello everybody, we are live for round 2 of Formula Rookie here on Dubai Autodrome International with Andrex. We are starting the lobby in a second now. I guess I'll be the second commentator here. I'm only the stream broadcaster, but Andrex will be the main commentator here. So welcome everybody once more.
Joining us for round 3 of the Formula Rookie League here, so could be another interesting one here. We're running at United Arab Emirates track tonight, so just kicking off with qualifying, and I think they've put me in a car as opposed to broadcaster, but never mind. We'll work with it.
We have a bit of latency, but we should be fine.
Okay. So unfortunately, I'm not going to see directly the same as what you are looking at there, unfortunately, because they didn't give me a broadcaster, but never mind. We'll make it work. We'll get there. So we're just going to see. I don't know if you're able to bring up the standings, so we can just give guys viewing a quick recap of where they're at in the championship at the moment so far.
1 second.
So they've done the first 2 rounds.
1 second and we'll get that on.
Excellent.
I think so, at least.
Okay. So we've got 15 minutes of qualifying. Guys are just going out on track just now. I'll see those guys putting in some laps. Hopefully putting in some...
Oh, we have Kiss disqualified.
Already? That's impressive.
Yes. And 1 grid place penalty for pit lane violation.
Indeed.
For CLF Bedra Beecliff.
Yeah. So again, unfortunately, I don't get to see the names of the guys either, which is rather awkward. I just get the 3-letter acronyms of all the drivers tonight, I'm afraid. We'll see if we can try and get that sorted for next week. But we'll make it work. We'll get there. We'll see if we can try and figure out who's who.
I really can't get the standings out, sadly, because I'm streaming at the same moment. Do
No
AOR do
problem.
Formula Rookie for Xbox? I'm pretty sure they do. GSR button.
Okay. Well, we can quickly kind of go over the previous results there. Looks as if it was one of the German tracks there. I didn't catch which one they were at there, but currently at the head of the standings at the moment is Tony Clifton, and he is teammates with JJB. So Tony got a win in the first race and followed that up with a second place in the second race as well, which is pretty much as almost a perfect clean sweep there. Followed relatively closely by Inky Chris, currently P2 in the championship there. He came second in the first race and followed that up with a P3. So again, a double podium finish for those two guys. Inky Chris, which is part of the Angry Alien Boys team there, the yellow cars. He's teammates with Yogurt, another. I can't argue with the fact that they've got Alien in their team name there, because they're both insanely fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm certainly expecting them to be getting further good results there. Pretty certain they'll be challenging for podiums for sure. So Yogurt in third. He came third in the first race last week.
And we have a crash into the wall.
Oh no!
It's Paul
Not during
Bejura.
qualifying, guys. Oh dear. So yeah, Yogurt came third in the first race, followed by a fifth. So he is just 15 points behind his teammates in third there. So very strong for those two guys in that team. They will be certainly ahead of the team championship. Tony Clifton's teammate JJP is currently in 8th position there, and we'll go over him in a second. But P4 is taken up by Jack Game 88. I'm not going to pronounce that team name. That's just ridiculous.
Oh, you mean the Polish one?
Yeah, I'm not. I would just butcher it.
Szczebrzeszyn Racing.
Yeah, what he said. So he came 6th in the first race, and then improved on that in race 2 with a 4th position there, so just outside the podium there. But a good set of strong results there. Puts him in 4th place. And that's just 11 points behind Yogurt as well there, so 37 points behind the leader Tony. But then we've got Ass Turbo. I've missed Ticklish Pickle. I do apologise. How could I miss TPW?
I think TPW is absent today because of his exams, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So he is in a team called One Fast and One Furious. Teammate Ticklish Pickle and Cyrus. So we'll let them decide which one's fast and which one's furious. We'll maybe see throughout the race tonight. And if you want to put predictions in the chat, then feel free. But yeah, TPW is certainly no slouch either. Ass Turbo's P6 there at the moment. Pretty bad result in the first race. I don't know what happened there, but a P16 for race 1 there. So obviously something didn't go to plan. Looks as if that was pretty much last place by the looks of things there, out of the 16 finishers. But he did combat that in perfect style by getting a win in race 2. So last in first race, first in the second race. So yeah, he's P6. If he can follow that up and not have disastrous races like the race 1, then he will hopefully be maybe climbing up those standings as well. P7, we've got Cameron 951320 and the British Green Rockets team, teammates to Atomic. We'll cover Atomic later on there. P8 covered JJP in the Holy Rookie team, part of Tony Clifton's teammate. Cyrus P9 we've already looked at. One Fast and One Furious there, he's P9. P10's Mr. Ferret, Redline Racing, P10. A couple of decent results there, 10th in the first race and then 8th in the second one. And then Mucac in P11 there, and he's in the other team that I'm not going to pronounce. So there, sorry. But P8 and a P12 finishes there for round 1 and round 2. Puts him in the 11th spot in the championship. And then there's CJ KCK. And P12.
We have quite a severe crash here. Cameron is out, almost.
Oh dear.
He's
Okay.
all around, now moving.
They've got 8 minutes to go. Just kind of keeping half an eye on them, and they're getting quite feisty out there, getting very slidey. Obviously, there's essentially no downforce in these things.
Exactly, no rear wing.
They're go-karts on steroids. So very twitchy, pretty nimble, but no downforce at all. So yeah, they're quite a handful there.
No rear
P13,
wing.
Indeed, no front or rear downforce at all. So very slidey. It's got to get the tire temps and pressures right, get the braking pressure bias correct as well to make sure the car's drivable and about as stable as you can make it, because you don't have the luxury of using downforce to help you. Back to the standings there, P13 is El Spano. He's in 13th. P15 and a P13 finish for the last 2 races there. Not far away from him is Kiz. He's P14 there, and 2 14th finishes. Then we've got Atomic, which is the teammate, the British Green Rockets, their teammate to Cameron. He got a P11 finish in the first race and then a disconnect race 2. So hopefully he can try and make up for that for the rest of the season there, get some more good results. I know he's obviously another good driver. I've raced against him in the GT3 league. He's a very good driver, very clean, very safe out there. So to see him on here as well. I got Twisted in P16, the Redline Racing teammate to Mr. Ferret. He got a P12 finish in race 1 and then a DNF in race 2. So again, looking to hopefully try and haul in some decent finishes there to kind of counteract that no score finish on race 2 there. So pretty close up at the top there. Tony, Inky and Yogurt just separated by 26 points there. P4 and P5, Jack Game and Ticklish Pickle Wickle are actually level, so it's P4 equal on 57 points, and Ass Turbo very close behind on 55, and then the points kind of trailing away after that one. So still the top 5, top 6 are still in with a pretty healthy shout. Again, I still expect probably the strongest team here, in my opinion, would be the Angry Alien Boys of Inky, Chris and Yogurt. We know Yogurt and Inky as well from the GT3 league. I put in very strong performances there. So yeah, we expect to see them up the front there. In fact, currently in provisional poll here with 5 minutes left to go, we have got Yogurt with a 1 minute 50.3. And then Tony Clifton is not too far behind, just under half a second there. And then we've got Inky Chris in P3. Just demoted down to P4 now, with Cameron putting in a P3 lap time there. So again, the top 3 guys from the last 2 races are in the top 4 at the moment. We'll see if any of those improve back up again, to see if Inky improves again. But Cameron with a good lap in there puts him in P3, very close to Tony Clifton in P2. So perhaps in just a 10th or 2 will get him ahead and put him in provisional P2. But yeah, over 4.5 minutes left to go. Got Jack Game in P5. Got PVL currently in P6. I'm struggling to figure out which driver that is. In fact, he is someone that didn't race last week. By the looks of things there, got PVL currently in 22nd in the standings with 2 DNS did not start. We've got Ass Turbo in P8. He's running around there, looking very close to P7 as well, so doesn't need much of an improvement. Just 1.5 seconds off pole at the moment there. Still plenty of time there to kind of eke out another 10th or 2. See if we can just leapfrog a couple of guys up in the standings there and qualifying. We have got Rob currently in P9. I'm not sure who Rob is from the standings there, to be honest.
It's Robob DWSN. I have completely no idea if he's a new driver, but probably yes.
Okay.
But he's not so slow. He's in the middle of the standings.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, again, very close behind Rob is LEC, which I can only assume. No, it doesn't make much sense against the championship standing names either.
I have no idea what that Bedra in the middle of their nicks mean, but I bet it's some clan name or team.
Okay. I've got JJ that's just jumped up into P9, and I think Mewcat also put himself up into P6 as well. So some more lap times coming through. JJ goes back to pits there. He's got time to jump back out again onto the track and run another lap or two. I've got TWI at the bottom of the grid here that Twisted, I'm assuming, has not left the pit at all. He's not set a lap time. Don't know if there's a penalty preventing him from taking part of the qualifying process at the moment or not. Or maybe he's just quite happy to sit at the back, follow the guys round for lap 1 or 2, keep out of trouble, pick up the pieces whenever the people fall off the track. Yeah, hopefully it's maybe it's tactical as opposed to any penalty in any way. You got a DNF last race, so I don't know if there was perhaps an issue with that one, a collision maybe, but all speculation, I'm afraid. So I couldn't honestly tell you. But we'll keep an eye on him. Sometimes being at the back of the grid is not a bad place to be. Let's see who else we have got. Any changes up at the top there? No, top 4, 5 are still the same. Lap times have not improved, I don't think, really, or certainly nothing to write home about yet.
Yes, but I think
top 3 within half a second.
We've got Tony Clifton on a hot lap. He could improve. He's P2 right now, only 4 tenths down of Yogurk. Nice. From my experience, I can say that Yogurk is a weapon in all of the leagues, but here here it seems like he's finally got some opponents. I can
Indeed.
tell you that for Formula Renault this is just his league. He's probably winning every race. Only 2 guys challenging him, but still he's mostly up there on P1 except last race. But here we've got Tony Clifton challenging him.
I think that was a bit of a messy start at Spa in the last race. So
yes.
I think he had a collision with his teammate.
All the top 3 from the driver standings got caught up in the crash, and it led to a new driver winning the race, a debutant. But nice. here nothing seems like is going to destroy his race like last time.
No, indeed. Hopefully, if he's putting on pole, he's got just under half a second of pace ahead of P2 at the moment there. Tony Clifton back into the pits there. He's not going to have time to get back out again. There's literally only a handful of seconds left of this session. He'll be able to complete the lap that they are on. They won't be able to start a new one. But that is qualifying over.
We still got Cameron on his lap, I think.
Indeed. I think Yogurt's still out as well, trying to improve, just coming through the last corner there just now. See if he improves. Not 100% confident that he's going to remain in pole, so he's putting in another last lap. He has not improved his lap time at all, but it's back to the pits. Cameron coming across, I think it's the back straight there. He's still on a fast lap there. Inky Chris is also on a fast lap, just coming through the final sector into the penultimate right-hander. Most people are back in the pits already there, so just really Cameron and Inky to look at there. Inky just coming through the final corner now, lining up the straight line, the start-finish line. See if he improves at all with 50.9, and he does not. He remains in P4. So unless Cameron
is the last one.
Jump, he's just coming into sector 3 now.
We've got an explanation from our viewers. Bejura means Belgian Dutch Racing Alliance. So as I said, that's some team name. Apparently, those 2 guys are teaming up as their in their team outfit.
Excellent. Yeah, so Cameron just coming through the final corner. He's only last car on the track now, just coming at the final corner now. A little bit sliding, but I think he slightly missed the apex, and he's ran wide, unfortunately. But he is pretty much guaranteed P3. So that is the standings. Yogurt on top spot there for first race here. Tony Clifton in his pretty close second place there. Cameron rounding up the top 3, followed by Inky and Jack with 4th and 5th. And that's pretty much we are good to go. I'm getting a bit glitchy on the pit lane there for me, but there we go.
We've got Yogurt on pole position. Nothing to challenge him. Only and probably as much as 4 tenths to Tony Clifton.
Inky Chris gone.
Inky Chris? Oh, he's out of the standings. I cannot see him as well. I think he got disconnected.
A yellow car in P3 there, and he has dropped.
He was P4, yeah.
He was, he was P4 indeed. So that's a disaster. Going from a 2nd place and a 3rd place in previous races to a DNS. That is a shame.
So we dropped from 17 to 16 drivers thanks to that. If he won't rejoin really quickly,
he won't be able to join now. That'll be the session's finished. You have to join with at least 3 minutes left to go of the session before or it won't let you in.
Oh, that's a pity.
You'll be able to spectate, but you will not be able to get in your car.
Yep. So he will probably be only able to join for the 2nd race. The longer one,
I suspect so. Yeah.
He could get positioned because he will probably be starting at the end. So 40 minutes to gain positions and maybe even get a win. We know NK Chris is a fast guy. He's been chasing down everyone in GT3 with his old trusty BMW Z4.
Indeed.
Well, challenging you for the title
he gave
this
me
season.
A good fight, to be fair.
Yes.
In a car that probably really shouldn't be that competitive, all things considered. But yeah, no, he is properly fast. Again, another super clean driver as well. He's got a tactical head on his shoulders as well. So not just fast, but pretty smart on track as well. He knows how to do the overtaking. So yeah, it's a shame to drop him from race 1 here tonight. Hopefully he can get back in again for race 2. It certainly looks as if they're not restarting a lobby to get back in again there. It's always a bit of a risky one to restart a lobby for 1 or 2 people because there's always a chance that somebody else might not be able to get in after that as well. So I suspect the coordinator will be just running through a briefing at the moment and going through a quick kind of chat to the drivers there, just explaining us what the race format is. I'm sure they're aware, but it's always nice just to get somebody to repeat the process, just to make sure there's no confusion, and people get it all right in terms of the starting process. I'll be getting their setups perfected for the race rather than the qualifying setup. A bit more fuel and so on, and yeah, hopefully we should get going fairly soon.
We never really talked about the track yet. Dubai Autodrome, a very fun track with the Formula cars, I must say. I didn't get to race the rookie cars there, but for example, Formula C is nice. It's a nice series to race with. Very twisty track, a lot of corners, also 2 pretty long straights. If the car you race with has DRS, it could be helpful, but it's more of a technical track. 4.5 kilometers long, 12 corners.
Indeed. You don't have a start button on your screen at all, do you? You've not taken over host or anything? I don't know who the host was originally.
I've still got the session results screen.
Yeah, and you've just got a return to race central button at the bottom still, yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to click it?
No, don't click that. It was just in case you had a continue button instead, that was all.
No, I don't have it.
You've got a race, that's fine. So yeah, I don't know who the lobby host is tonight.
Yep, Ticklish Picklewickle isn't that.
I would imagine it'd be Ticklish Picklewickle.
Yeah, he's not here this week, so someone else must be the host. I think someone's also being the coordinator today instead of him. Yeah, probably Atomic. A very active guy in our Project CARS 2 community.
Indeed.
Hosting of the community races, also practice races for Formula now.
Indeed.
Don't know what happened, but got disconnected Yogurt got disconnected. We've got Tony Clifton on pole position after all.
Oh dear. Maybe restarting the lobby, perhaps. I don't know. I'm still.
Could be possible. Should get messaged about that.
I've still got yogurt on my screen at the moment. There still, but I'm still looking at the results.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna quickly jump down into the channel, have a quick chat to see if we can figure out what's going on down there, and hopefully we can let you know what the score is. I will be back very shortly.
Okay. No idea what's going on. Well,
okay, they are just going through a briefing at the moment there.
Okay. Good to know. Because I was really worried for a second.
So Yogurt's in chat, and you got disconnected. Oh man, that's both. That's the teammates. That's the alien teammates.
And we are starting now.
Yeah, looks like it.
Down to 17 cars without Inky, Chris, and Yogurt.
Yogurt. Yeah, and Chris Wright also in chat as well, saying that he's got the same. Doesn't want us to get the team points. I'm guessing Chris Wright is Inky Chris then. Maybe. I thought he had a proper Inky Chris name in YouTube. Maybe not. But yeah, that's an entire team dropped. So the other guys will have a chance to pull in as many points as they can in race 1 to try and jump in ahead of the alien team. But that mixes things up again. Tony Clifton now on pole, followed by Cameron, and then Jack Game 88 taking the first spot on the second row there, followed by PBL. Too fast for you. I can actually see names right now, but they'll disappear when the actual racing starts. Mewcat and As Turbo take up grid line 3 and 5th and 6th respectively. JJ and Robo Bodswin. That was the name butchered, but I'm going with it. And then we've got Lek, Nidlap, and Death Cyrus in 9th and 10th. There's just 30 seconds to go, and they will get race 3 underway. But yeah, it's a big shame to see 2 of the big names dropping out. He is Inky Chris, okay. I was having a bit of a messed up head. I thought his name in YouTube was indeed actually Inky Chris, but there we go.
Well, if we had points split between those 2 races, that wouldn't be such a loss, but we've got full points for both of the races, so that could be a bother for those fighting for the championship. But I think we are starting now.
Indeed. We are on the grid. I'm going to follow somebody like P5, so that should get us a good view of the standings. It is green, green, green. They are racing. Cameron gets a good start there. Clifton down to P2 as they're coming towards turn 1, just down this start-finish straight there, down the hill, side by side there. And it is indeed Tony Clifton regaining P1. Gets through cleanly and around the outside there. We've got Cameron not too far behind, and then Jack Game in 3rd, actually looking up the inside. Gotta be careful, these cars are rather fragile there. You do not want to get these wheels interlocked with each other. But a very good clean start at the moment so far. It's all looking single file. They've got themselves sorted out. They are underway. See if we can find any action. It's pretty much single file there. We've got As Turbo looking up the inside of Cameron there. So Cameron's dropped a couple of places now.
Cameron
Jack's
going wide.
Yeah. Jack Game into P2, Cameron back into P3 again now, but they're squabbling, they're fighting, holding each otherselves up. It's 3 wide, almost 4 wide, but it's a battle up there in the middle there. We've got As Turbo and PBL, and Cameron still in there as well. Mewcat, so there's 4 cars very close together, side by side back at further back as well. P12, the 2 green cars there, not teammates, but they're also fighting one another. But at the moment, Tony Clifton has got a little bit of a lead over Jack Game. He's just trying to pull away and make every advantage that he can. Jack falling back just a little bit there, still within reach though.
Tony
Yeah,
Clifton,
finishing lap 1.
Tony Clifton going
converts
away,
the
not bothering about
pole
the
position.
fights behind him.
Indeed. Taking advantage of the fact that the guys behind were kind of fighting a little bit there, but Jack in his solid P2 there, not too far behind. Nice and clean racing. Fast Turbo currently P3 there, and Mewcat in 4. Who kind of sorted themselves out a little bit there now. Cameron down to P5. Very close to the back, and he slides round out on the inside. He's off track there. He's losing position down to 7th, probably down to 8th, I think, when he's got to rejoin nice and safely. He's kind of getting a bit muscled out there a little bit, but
not quite
manages
safely
to get back on again. And he has dropped all the way down to P11. It's a bit of a disaster there. That's just one little slide, and you drop from about 4th or 5th down to 11.
Oh, and you've got someone out far away on the track, down at the start of the straight. Yeah, that's
KIS facing backwards there.
Yep, he's back on
he's
track.
Got going again there, back on the back straight away there. Long gap there. Then TWI has also been having issues there. He's currently P15 there, just falling back a little bit there. Gonna keep half an eye on Cameron there. He's actually got a bit of a gap. He's got back into P10, so he's gained back from P11, and he's going to be looking to put in some solid lap times to try and gain back up through the field again there.
He could capitalize on the guys fighting in front of him. We've got
indeed
probably almost all the time 3 wide in front of him. Now a single file.
Indeed. Jack still keeping within about a second of Tony up ahead there.
Oh,
and As Turbo very close behind him as well.
That's a bit of a hit here, but I think the blue car is fine. I'm not sure who that was.
It's looking 3 wide as they go across the start-finish line as they go towards P4, and he's moving across. I'm not sure who DAR was there, but he moved across when there was somebody right beside him.
And it's Robob out of the race.
And somebody is on his roof.
It's Robob DWSN out of the race.
And he has retired.
He's back to the garage.
Not got a reset button, but indeed, that's a bit of a disaster there. That does really kind of fall in fact, DAR also out, and there's further confusion happening further back there. Cameron has dropped down to 14th. Didn't catch what happened there, but I saw him when he was sideways on. So he has dropped down to next to last place. So his recovery is not going to plan. A battle here for P8. That's coming around the corner at the end of the back straight there. It's got 2 teammates, Lek and Paul, running together there. Hopefully they're not going to have any team issues. They're going to
no team orders here. Don't worry, no team orders here.
No team orders. Bit of a battle further back there as well for 12th. Not far away, PBL and CLF teammates again. In fact, CLF just letting PBL through.
Oh.
Maybe a team orders.
Maybe team orders there. After all.
Perhaps for that team. But Paul, after...
I think he has problems. Also, one more car overtaking him. I think that was Darth Cyrus. I think it's just problems with his car.
Indeed. Could be. Maybe picked up damage in some way.
We've still got Jack game in within a second behind Tony Clifton.
Yeah,
he's waiting for the mistake.
Matching there. If we look at the lap times there, we've got a 51.466 Tony and a 51.313 for Jack, and then As Turbo is also very close to the 51.3. No one else hitting the 51s there. It's just the top 3. Mewcat not too far away, 52.5. JG is actually a little bit quicker than Mewcat with a 52.1, and he is close. And we have CLF in the pits. He is getting serviced and getting repairs of some sort. Jack game is looking pretty close there. He's just piling in the nice clean laps there, just over 13 minutes. He went a little bit wide there, just over 13 minutes left. So it's probably going to be around about 7 laps left to go. CLS still in the pits there, looking to try and get out and back onto the track again there. I'm not up to speed with the point scoring system in terms of how many people get the points, but I think the top 16 did, looking at the standings. So just staying out and getting back on track will certainly add points to your championship. And if they're doing reverse grid, if you don't finish, then you don't start at the front for any reverse grids. So he does need to get back up and running and back out on track. He's still in pits at the moment there, but hopefully he will get back out and return to the race. Looking at lap times, Tony gets the only. Oh, in fact, that's Turbo pulls in a 50.9. He's the fastest car on track as we speak right now. Just making some time up on Jack. He's a 55, which he hasn't dropped that far back. He has got a red number next to his name, so he has picked up a track penalty of some sort. See if we can look at the timings here. He's got a 2-second penalty onto his name there just now. So that's going to be pretty painful with these sort of lap times and how close this racing is. So at the moment, he's actually net P3, as Turbo is currently net P2 right now with those penalties in play. Tony Clifton just putting in the laps again, just that low 151.
So I looked up the point system really quickly. We've got 50 points for P1 and 44 for P2, 38 for P3, and for pole position and fastest lap 1 point each. And it's pretty much going down by 4 or 5 every one position.
And it's very close for us. Turbo is right on the back of Jack right now. He's looking to the inside there. They're coming into sector 3 there. He's got the inside line. Is Jack going to fight it? I think he's probably just going to let him go. Probably a tactical decision just to say, tell you what, you're faster, on you go. I'll just see if I can follow you. I'm not going to fight you and slow myself up. So just under 11 minutes left to go, and As Turbo is on the move up to P2. Coming through the final corner there just now, onto the start-finish straight. See the lap times. Tony's just about to cross the line now, and he does a 51.3. Let's see if As Turbo improves. He does at a 50.8, so just takes over half a second, or about half a second off Tony Clifton's lead. This is pretty much a perfect kind of situation for Tony right now in terms of points for the championship, with the two kind of main competitors both not scoring in this race. So he needs to kind of capitalise that and pull in as many as he can to see if he can just extend his lead and get as far away from both Yogurt and Inky Chris as possible. Cameron, I think he has gained back up into P10 now, so about 30 seconds off the lead at the moment there. His last lap was a 54.4, quite possibly within traffic for guys, because he did drop down to about 14th, and he has gained back up into 10th, so yeah, there's still time for him to gain back up the leaderboard there a bit more. So yeah, As Turbo just 1 second behind Tony at the moment, looking as if he, being the fastest car on track, should have enough time to catch up with Tony and challenge for the lead. See if he can do that. If it's half a second a lap, then in theory it should be in the next couple of laps. Just coming through the final kind of set of corners there, penultimate corner through the year, past the pit entry lane, and through the final corner. It looks as if he's certainly within a second, if not less than a second to Tony. We'll check the lap times, see if he has improved even more, which he has. Tony has gone slower, and As Turbo has gone faster. He is on a charge. He has got his target in his sights, and he is hunting down Tony. Still plenty of time left in the race for him to do it. He doesn't need to push too hard and make a mistake and throw it all away. Got TWI in the pits at the moment there now, down in P14. Not sure what the issue was there. I got Mucat not too far away from JJ. Their lap times are pretty close to one another, so there's certainly a potential battle happening there. P6, 7 and 8, they have got a little bit of a gap between each other now there, but it's actually Lek in P8 was right behind the red car there, but it's now the red car's challenging his teammate for P6 in this draft, closing on the straight, pulling out to the left, which will be the outside for the next right-hander here. See if he can make a challenge on the outside. He decides not to, try and maybe looking for the cut back, moving back to the right-hand side, trying to open up the next left-hander as much as possible. So just trying to reduce the amount of having to turn with these cars being very kind of slow, essentially. You have to manage the speed, and he's gone round the outside in a fantastic move round the outside there to claim P6 there. It's very well done. Superb driving, and it's actually teammates behind are now battling side by side for that P7. Let's see who comes out on top here, see if there's any team orders, see if I'm going to play safe. It is Paul. It's now actually just gained up on the red car now. FER fair. He's gone wide on that penultimate corner there. But two green cars teammates kind of battling, but I think Lek is just kind of holding back. Just, I'll let you go, I'll follow you. See if we can work together. Maybe draft each other and see if we can try and push up, gain that position back again. Cameron with a 53-1 there, so kind of matching the guys ahead. He's got a bit of clean air now. So hopefully he can put in a bit quicker lap times now and gain up to the guys ahead.
9 seconds behind, but faster lap times. He could catch up.
Indeed. So As Turbo is still making further inroads into Tony Clifton. Not quite so much of a gap gained this time around. Both in the 51s, low 51s. I don't know that dirty air will have too much of an effect on these cars, having no aero to speak of. So there shouldn't really be too much of a disadvantage being following the car ahead through the corners. But yeah, this is still shaping up to be a good fight at the end there. 5.5 minutes left to go. Probably about 2, maybe 3 laps left in this race.
Tony Clifton
so
up by almost
time.
3 times. And he's looking up here, but As Turbo is slowing down. His previous lap was half a second slower than the one he did earlier, so they are pretty much up, matching the pace right now.
Yeah. Tony Clifton completes another lap coming through the final corner there. Let's see the lap times here. They look pretty close to one another. I suspect the lap times will probably be pretty close. Indeed, both 150.8. So next to nothing in it there just now, but still, I would say at least 3 laps left to go. They're doing just under 2-minute laps. So there'll be 3 laps left to go. Tony just piling in the laps as best as he can there, trying to keep the gap. Not having to defend quite so much as yet from As Turbo. Perhaps As Turbo is just sizing him up, following behind him, seeing where he is faster, not playing his hand until the end, perhaps holding off until the last lap. A bit of a risky strategy perhaps, but yeah, he has got several laps still to go. Coming down the back straight here.
You can say they are fighting in their own league. Jack Game third, 6 seconds behind, but his lap times are over 2 seconds slower at the moment.
Indeed. He's pretty much no man's land there. He does have that penalty, but it doesn't look as if it's going to affect him that much there, because he does have about 8-second gap to Mucat behind him. But Mucat, I think JJ has just gotten past Mucat, in fact, because they have switched, and they've switched back again. Mucat getting back into P4. Our lap times also very close to one another, so yeah, this battle is going to continue on there for the next couple of laps, I suspect. The 2 green teammates look as if they have jumped past that red Fair for P6, 7 and 8. Fair looking to challenge back again round the outside there. He's trying to line it up. He's going to have the inside for the next couple of corners, and they are slow corners, so having that inside line is going to be a massive advantage. Very difficult to run down the outside of somebody here. With it being no downforce, the cars are very equal. So holds it nicely on the inside there, gets that position back into P7. And As Turbo is incredibly close on the clock, but he's not quite so close as it looked on the timer there. But he is looking as if he's trying to make a move somewhere close now. A little bit slidey squirrely, just bumping off that curb on the apex there, just unsettling the car a little bit there. Is close behind Tony now, probably about as close as he has ever been right now in this race so far. Just allowing Tony to punch a hole in the air in front of him. The draft might be pretty decent here in these light cars. So he is looking to charge and looking to pressure Tony. Tony's a pretty cool cucumber. He's not easily flustered. He's not going to be rolling over and let that position go without a fight. Again, another pretty smart driver out on track there, so we'll see if he is able to hold off the charging As Turbo. Let's see if we can look a little bit further back. JJ has gained back into P4 there. Again, I apologise, I missed that overtake there, but Mucat is again not giving up that without a fight. It looks to me, I would say, that Mucat is perhaps a pad driver, looking at the twitchy steering that he's running there. If that is the case, which I'm almost pretty confident that is the case, looking at how the car is handling, that is a very impressive show to be in the top 5 with a pad. So that's great to see there, and he's by no means out of it, that's for sure.
Well, we had those accidents, let's say, when people driving on controllers were really even winning leagues, but here it doesn't seem so. But Mucat's still, as you said, very impressive. P5 with a controller.
Indeed. It's going back to the battle for 6, 7, 8 there. Again, they've kind of, I think they're just kind of holding the same positions, but there's a little bit of a gap forming between the 3 drivers there just now. Still pretty close. We'll see if we can follow back onto As Turbo there. This could very well be, I'm pretty certain, is going to be the last lap. He is making a run on the back of Tony Clifton. He jumps out the draft, out the outside, and turn in a very hard braking zone for the very slow right-hander. Locking up a little bit on the right-hand side there, but he's opening up the next corner there. Tony Clifton's a little bit compromised with his line. And it's As Turbo is getting a good run through this corner.
Well, it's the last
Tony
chance for
not
us
defending
to
too much. There's 15 seconds left, so this is the final sector of the race. Again, a good drive out of that corner for As Turbo there, just following in the slipstream of Tony up ahead. Tony gonna probably have to take the defensive inside line here and not let As Turbo up on the left-hand side of him, force him to go around the outside, which is very difficult. As Turbo's going to look for the cutback, a wider entry, and then a kind of sharper exit. But it looks at this stage that Tony Clifton has done enough as he comes into the final corner. He's held on from the charging As Turbo there. Wasn't really too much of a fight at the end. He didn't have to defend too hard, but he comes across the line to win race 3 there with a fantastic result for him, boosting his gap on the championship there. Fantastic racing from Tony. And a great recovery from As Turbo to get a solid P2. Jack Gamer comes across the line in P3. He will be very happy with that, I'm sure. JJ coming through the last corner there with Mucat right on his tail, but they are not going to change positions. They
maybe.
come back.
No.
They were close, but it was not before the line. So JJ holds 4th, Mucat 5th. Lek comes across and survives that battle with Fair and his teammate Paul. They hold their position 6th, 7th, 8th. Cameron picks up a penalty on the last corner. See if that drops him back. I don't know what the penalty is, but he holds P9 currently, and he holds on to P9. Dar coming in P10 there. Atomic holds P11 there. PVL coming through the last couple of corners now as well. P12 for him. I think Yeah, him and his teammates. No, it wasn't his teammate in the case.
CLF, I
CLF
think.
teammate. He's already finished because he got lapped. So Kiss will be the last person to cross the line, I believe.
Kiss and Twisted, yeah.
Yep. He's just coming through the final corner now on the start-finish straight to complete the race. And there we have it. Fantastic battle at the front there. That was good racing. Fantastic drive from Tony. Managed to inherit the pole position, but converted it, did exactly what he needed to do. Gained enough of a lead at the start to prevent anyone from really catching him. Looking at the lap times there, it was indeed As Turbo with the fastest lap of that race there with a 150.5. Tony Clifton not too far behind that with a 50.8. Jack Gamer bringing in the podium position P3 there. Another 51.3, so another solid lap there. Even if he increased his time penalty at the end there, but up to 3 seconds, but that did not affect him in terms of positioning. P4 goes to JJ. Mewcat holds on to P5 there. Mr. Ferret, that's who Ferret is. I do apologise, I should have done that one. Ferret brings it in P7. Paul holds on to P8 there as well. Cameron does recover to P9 after a pretty disastrous start, but we will see if he can make any advantage from that reverse grid for the next race. Death Cyrus rounding out the top 10 with Atomic and a rather uncharacteristic P11 there. Race certainly didn't seem to quite go his way. Not sure if that's setup issues or something else that was at hand that prevented him from probably putting in the result that was perhaps more expecting from Atomic there. PVL P12, Kiss in P13, CLF B Cliff in 14th, Twisted in a P15, and Rob P16, but he was retired. And I was disqualified. Hey.
I wasn't even in the standings.
Yeah, so I'll just see if I can ask them to give me a broadcaster, please, this time. But yes, that is a pretty much perfect race for Tony Clifton. He will increase his lead in the championship there. Went all according to plan. Essentially, we'll see if we can set up the next race. No audio, no game audio in the game.
I already fixed
stream
that.
at the moment. You fixed it. Perfect.
Yep. Wasn't really sure if the volumes are correct. I hope they can hear you.
Indeed. I'm sure they'd rather listen to the cars than listen to me, to be fair, but it sounded like they got the other way around, I'm afraid, so sorry, boys and girls. But yes, that sets us up for the next race. I'm not sure how they will deal with both Yogurt and Inky Chris. I'm guessing they will start from the back of the grid, having a essentially did not start, did not finish result for race 1 there. So they will be looking to charge through the pack there, along with Tony. I suspect he should also be right up there. As Turbo, obviously looking pretty fast tonight. So yeah, we expect him to probably make a charge through the track, through the positions as well. We'll see how he gets on. But a fantastic race for race 1 for this evening. Hopefully we'll get some more of the same, a lot more overtaking for the next race, for the feature race.
Yes, despite a little overtaking in this race, a very interesting one indeed.
Indeed. So race 2 for this evening will be a 45-minute race there, so plenty of time for the guys starting the back with those faster lap times to make it through the pack. It's really just a case of being sensible and cautious and knowing when to attack and making the best passing that you can, without putting yourself at too much risk. It does not take too much of a bump to unsettle these cars. and we've seen just a half spin how much that can drop you off the back of the pack. So yes, looking forward to race 2. I would certainly predict that both Yogurt and Inky Chris will be making their charge through the field, along with Tony Clifton and well, pretty much a lot of the top guys really. As Turbo for sure, he was fastest guy of race 1, so he's certainly setting himself up to be in contention for charging to the pack. I believe it's a 40-minute race for race 2. Just the 5 minutes are added on just in terms of setting up the grid, because it has to be a manual process of setting up that reverse grid.
I think that would be useful in
Formula
Formation
lap as well. Indeed.
Yes. Well, the last race pretty much shown us that it's needed. I think you were analyzing the first lap crash with those guys in the chat after the race.
All right, yes. Well, hopefully after the feature race there, we'll maybe see if we can get one or two of the guys into the comm booth there and have a little interview, see if I can get them to discuss both races, and see if they can let us know and fill us in on anything that we've missed. But yeah, that crash on the start-finish straight there, they were pretty much 4 wide. I don't recall who it was. I think it was Dom, who seemed to kind of move a little bit over to the right-hand side there when there was a car right next to him. Not sure who that was. No, can't quite figure out who that was, I'm afraid. Yeah, I suspect that will end up going to a steward's inquiry there to review that, because I suspect there will probably be a penalty heading out for that incident there. Very avoidable. 4 wide's pretty scary at the best of times there, but yeah, hopefully we'll get no further incidents like that in race 2. We'll get the grid set up for that reverse grid and get the racing underway as soon as these guys are ready.
We've got still 1 minute to go. Atomic will be briefing the guys before we start.
Perfect. But for those watching the stream, or perhaps catching up afterwards on YouTube, get yourself involved. There's still places on the grid. If you want to sign up, if you like what you see and you fancy becoming part of it, get yourself onto apexonlineracing.com. Find the Project Cars forum threads. Within there will be a Leagues Project Cars League thread, and in there will be Open Wheelers and one for the Formula Rookie, along with other leagues that are currently running. The Formula Renault is also ongoing at the moment as well. So yeah, it's great to have you all watching, but it'd also be great to have you guys on the track as well. See if we can get you guys out racing as well, and we can talk about you and forget your names and make a mess of everything for you.
The more the merrier.
Just don't have a horrible team name that I can't pronounce, eh?
Well, I can actually pronounce it, but that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'll let you commentate on that team then. But we do have the lobby. We've got Yogurt back in the lobby, along with Inky Chris there as well. So good to see those guys back. They will be certainly looking to get the best possible result to combat that last race of a no points for that entire team, let alone for the championship, with Tony increasing his lead after that race, getting an extra 50 points over P2 there. So I suspect it might even be Cameron that might also have potentially jumped ahead as well. Or Jack Game, he got a good result there as well, so maybe he has jumped up the standing. In fact, he almost certainly has, because I think he got a P3 in that race there, if I'm correct.
Yep, Jack Game
so
got
he
P3.
will quite possibly have jumped into P2 in the championship from P4, with both drivers from Angry Alien Boys not scoring anything. There's only a 8 race championship, So it doesn't give an awful lot of time to recover from a result like that. But if you were to pick two guys that are probably the ones that are capable of doing it, then yeah, it'll be these guys. So they are on the grid ready for race 2, but they will not be going off that green light. They will be sitting static for a minute or so, just setting their car setups, adding some more fuel in the tanks for the 45 minutes, 40-minute race, and looking to sort out that reverse grid order.
I must say, I'm not wishing no one unwell, but maybe it's better for the standings that Yogurt is starting last.
Indeed, yes. I assume that Inky and Yogurt will be last on the grid there for this race, the feature race. But yeah, it's going to make it very exciting. There's going to be a lot of people charging through the pack. And the dynamics of the reverse grid, of having these slower guys up at the front, perhaps, I mean, it's great, giving them the opportunity to kind of get a good result as possible. But certainly 40 minutes is easily long enough for the faster guys at the back to be able to get all the way back through to the front. I think the lap times were quite a big jump between sort of third, fourth, and then further down. So those guys starting from the back have certainly got the pace to be getting through. But there was people that didn't have a good result. Like Cameron did not get a good race result there on this one. So he will actually be further up on the grid with it being reversed. So he'll have a little bit of an advantage over the guys right at the back. Hopefully you can maybe see if you can try and take advantage of that as much as possible. Get through as many cars as possible. But obviously that first lap it's the easiest time to make and gain places off others, but it's the easiest time to get into a collision or contact and end up spinning, facing backwards, picking up damage. So it's very much a case of risk versus reward. As we see these guys just pulling away from the start line, they will be going down probably to about the end of Sector 1, the start-finish straight, perhaps. I should then be kind of sitting there, hopefully stopped.
Yes, the pack should be
the other guys to
at the end of Sector 1, but so far we just see the guys rolling through slowly.
Yep.
Do not be scared, guys. We just have the AOR manual start procedure going on soon, as the game allows flying starts, but not setting up the order as you want it to, opposite to some games like F1. So we will be forming up on this lap and doing a flying start at the end of the current lap.
Indeed. Inky Chris hasn't pulled away from the grid there, but looks like things there. So they're still just calling out the order there. P1 currently just running nice and slow. Just he's gone through Sector 1 now. He's on the back straight just now. He should really be kind of stopped, which he has now stopped indeed. I'll let the other guys from the back of the grid catch back up again.
Stopped a bit late.
Where's Inky Chris gone again? Has he dropped again? Inky, no. Can you see Inky?
Inky? He's second to last.
You can't see him. I can't see him on my scoreboard. How about that? Oh, you get. Okay, you can see 17th and 18th. My scoreboard stops at 16. Okay.
Yep, Inky Chris is 17th and Atomic is 18th.
Give me a little heart attack there.
Yep. Oh, Atomic now moving on. I think he was last just to set the guys in the correct order.
Okay. Someone mentioning in chat there, the in-game audio looks very low. I don't know how audio could look very low. I'm assuming it sounds rather low, but it's pathos, so we'll let him off with that one. Also questioning the slipstream as a thing with these things. I suspect so. The two straight start-finish straights and the back straight are not that long, and as much as these cars don't have any aero, um, they are very light cars. So yeah, I suspect the drafting effect will have some effect. It's not going to be a huge amount, but yeah, I think there's still definitely going to be a case where somebody might be able to kind of get a good exit going onto the straights
Well, we are forming up now.
and gain. Indeed,
Twisted.
just going 2 by 2 there. They'll be coming into sector 3, and they'll then go 2 wide. Twisted on P1 should really be on the right hand side of the track there.
Oh,
So that
Twisted
he
doing
has
the
the inside
Kimi.
on P1 and turn 1.
Twisted doing the Kimi Raikkonen here in the red car as well.
Indeed.
Warming the tires up is not a thing.
Well, they were static for a while, so the tires will drop temperatures when they're sitting, not moving. So, yeah, I don't know what a tire wear is like on these things. I would like to think it shouldn't be too bad, but again, with no downforce, they are slippery cars. So, he seems to be holding the left-hand side. He should really be on the right-hand side. I think he's just twigged now. They should be up side by side, 2 by 2 as they're coming through the sector here.
They should be forming up now.
There is
even earlier.
CLF, B Cliff in P2. And now, in fact, I've got 2 teams kind of together in the first 2 rows there. Coming down the hill, little slight hill here into the final turn. They will then enter the start-finish straight, and it will be up to Twisted as to when to floor it and when he decides to start. And he can go pretty much any time he likes now. The start grid looks pretty good. And it is go, go, go. Twisted has floored it. We are race on. He gets the jump. Looks fairly good start behind him as well there. P3 and 4 are together. They're teammates by the looks of things. So, I know in fact, sorry, 2 and 3 are teammates. Twisted gets a good exit, a good start there. Holding P1 there. We'll see if we can look further back now. Yogurt has gained up into P15 already. Cameron up to P9. In fact, up into P8 there already again as well. Yogurt looking to go around the outside, making huge moves on this first lap there. Up into P12 there already. Inky Chris not too far behind. Tony Clifton, who's also up to 13. And then, in fact, it looks as if Tony's just edged in front of Yogurt there as they come down this back straight there into the heaviest braking zone. Tony looking as if he's going defensive, and there's contact up ahead there. That's Mr. Ferret, I think, just got a bit of a bump there and gone off track there. Perhaps one of them missing their braking point there as they were following. But yeah, there's big moves up ahead already there. So we have Twisties has dropped down into P5. So not lap 1 completed yet, and he has lost a lead. He's dropped down to P5. We have Yogurt. I've got Tony Clifton ahead of Yogurt, ahead of Inky Chris, ahead of As Turbo. Those are the 4 cars that I would expect to be seeing making moves up the track there. Yogurt steals P11 off, and they're fighting. P11, Yogurt and Tony Clifton are fighting all the way through here at the moment. Swapping positions as they're going too wide through a lot of these turns here. Just about to complete lap 1. Looked all pretty clean apart from Mr. Ferret getting that bump earlier on there. I don't know where he is. He's down at the back of the field there now, unfortunately.
P18,
Hopefully
he's last at the moment.
Plenty of time to catch back up again now.
He's already catching up to Kiss and Elec already though.
Good
they are
to
both they are all 10 seconds behind the leader already, which is CLF at the moment.
But again, it's a 40-minute race or so there is plenty of time. Just keep yourself out of trouble, pile in the laps, and let the other guys ahead slow themselves down by fighting one another. But at the moment, it is CLF Cliff. I think it's B Cliff is currently in the lead there. He's gained just short of 3-second gap over what looks to be potentially his teammate there in P2.
Now it's Atomic in P2 after
Well,
a
it's now
nice move.
Atomic has got into P2 there, so Atomic making moves. I think, as we say from the last race, there wasn't maybe quite representative of his normal kind of positioning and racing. So see if he can continue and maybe charge after B Cliff, and that is
Oh.
PVL making contact with JJ.
Oh.
And they're locked together, and there is further contact behind. And
And a
this is one
pile
of the
up.
dangers of these open field cars, that
That's
the
Yogurt
tyres get,
caught up.
it is, he's dropped down to P13. And Tony Clifton has gained up into P5, just taking Cameron there. Cameron dropping down a couple of positions there. Looks as if there's a bit of scrapping going on there. So Clifton in P5 as Turbo takes P6. Cameron is fighting and gaining P6 back off as Turbo. Inky Chris sitting just behind them, waiting for these guys to fall over themselves. I'm looking to clean up and pick up any scraps that are left behind here. Mewcat also very close behind there. They will form a chain, one after the other, looking for any kind of advantage from that slipstream as they head down that start-finish straight there. B Cliff is extending his lead there with a 1 minute 52.3 there. Looks as if that is the current fastest lap of this race too. So far there with clean air. Nobody really challenging him right now. Atomic looking to see if he can bring a fight to them, but not too close at the moment. Pretty slidey going through some of these corners here. Scrubs off the speed, and certainly when going onto that back straight there, you want a nice clean entry onto that back straight to maximise that speed. But that gap has gone to almost 4 seconds there, so B Cliff is piling in the good laps here, trying to get away from everyone else and make as much use out of that lead as possible. Tony Clifton P4, As Turbo P5, and it's Dar in P6. And there's a spinner, there's a yellow one. Is that Inky or who was that? That's not. It wasn't a proper yellow car. It was a yellow and white one. I apologise. Quite catch who that was. But it was not Inky. Yogurt now in P10. They're looking to catch back up again and bring a fight to the guys ahead. Hopefully he can put in these laps and see if he can push forward towards the front.
Well, for me it looks like all about the Tony Clifton train so far. We've got quite a train of cars behind him.
Indeed. It actually looks as if Atomic and Paul just up ahead are probably looking pretty close there. Looks as if Paul's looking but on the inside. Coming into the final corner there, just coming onto the start-finish straight. It is Atomic. Looks as if he's holding the outside line. Paul maybe slowly drifting out of that corner. Makes contact, doesn't cause too much of a problem, managing to survive. But he has lost the momentum, and it's Tony Clifton has taken that P3 spot away from him. Clifton obviously very fast. He's got his car dialed in. As Turbo currently following him through into P4 as well. So Paul dropping back a couple of positions there from that contact with Atomic there, coming through the final corner. Looking at them just slightly sliding going through these corners there. Just trying to keep the throttle on, keep the power, keep the revs up as much as possible down these around this track. Here we can see that kind of slipstream effect does seem to have a slight effect and allowing people to gain up. And it looks as if Tony Clifton is making to move on Atomic. He has indeed. He's got through on the inside there. So that draft working well for him. And it looks as if Atomic has dropped a couple of positions as once again As Turbo follows Clifton through. Atomic now defending up on the inside there to Paul. Inky Chris just lurking behind these guys, just looking for these guys to make any further mistakes. See if he can nip through as well and follow the tail of As Turbo. Atomic looks as if he has pretty much gathered himself up again and holding that P4. In fact, Inky Chris has now got past, and Inky's got past Atomic as well. So Inky Chris making the moves at the moment up into P4. Yogurt also not too far behind there, currently P8. He's gained a couple of positions and looking up the inside of Paul right now. So Paul dropping back and managed to get through too wide through that final corner just ahead of Yogurt there, but they'll be slowing each other up. Yogurt looking at a draft there. I don't think he's quite going to be close enough for a move into turn 1. He might make it look as if he's going to have a look just to kind of distract these guys there, but I think he's probably just going to sit back and follow them through, but he's not. He's trying to make a move,
Oh, and
and the
Yogurt
problem with doing that is
slides through.
3 into 1 is not very a good idea, certainly with these cars. So I think the better option there would have been to sit back and just let them go through the corner, get a good drive, but that has dropped him back. Well, he's not dropped any positions, but he had a prime opportunity to kind of make a good exit onto his back straight and make a potential passing move at the end of the straight into the sharp right-hander here.
Well, we still got Big Cliff on the first place, capitalizing on all of the fights going on behind him.
Indeed, he ran a 52.5 in that last lap there, and it is Tony Clifton and As Turbo in the 51s, so pretty much a whole 1 second quicker than B Cliff. Tony Clifton is definitely the man that's on the move and on fire tonight so far. He is on a charge. He essentially started from last position, remember, barring Yogurt and Inky Chris because of their disconnections. But Tony effectively starting from pretty much the back of the grid within the first 10 minutes or so has already gained up into P2 with just 5 seconds to the lead. And if he is putting a second a lap currently, then it will not take long before that gap comes down a lot more. So B Cliff puts in another similar lap again, 52.4. But Clifton again another second quicker over B Cliff. So I suspect within the next 5, 6, 7 laps or so, as Yogurt comes into the pits, he is dropped down to 16th at the moment there, which looks as if that could be last position. Maybe not last. There's a couple of cars still behind him there just now. But that probably from that contact that we saw earlier on, going into turn 1 when 3 into 1 did not go. Perhaps a little bit ambitious. But we can see Mr. Ferret's just chasing in the tyre tracks of his teammate there, trying to get as good a straight exit as possible. See if he can make a move coming into this turn at the end of the back straight there. Moves out to the inside there, teammate not defending. See if he can outbrake him. He brakes a little bit later. They're side by side, coming in the inside line. Drifts a little bit wide there. In fact, makes contact with his teammate, the Cardinal Sin, blowing both of them up again. And it's actually leg, and he's dropped it
into the wall.
It was
Twisted.
Teammate Twisted, our pole sitter for the race. Unfortunately, dropping it on the exit of that left-hander there.
And his teammate as well.
His teammate, Mr. Ferret, has made a mistake on the very next corner. Don't know if there was contact made, because it looks as if it probably was there by the fact that Death Prius slowed down and looks to have maybe let him go and take that position back. It's a very odd place for him to be off, facing the wrong way. It was before the corner, so I'm not sure what happened there. I can only assume that maybe Death Prius perhaps went into back of him. But Ferret back on the road, back on the pace again, and catching back up on Twisted, his teammate again already. Back up at the front there, we see a 1 minute 53.6 from B Cliff in front in P1 currently. So Tony Clifton putting in another high 151. Dropping that gap down to 2.5 seconds. It was 5 seconds only a lap or so ago. So Tony is definitely on a charge. He has got about just over a second or so. In fact, not even quite a second or so on As Turbo behind. As Turbo's putting in a superb lap, along with Inky Chris behind him. I'm not sure if we can see where Yogurt has dropped down to. He is currently P17 and he has a penalty. I don't know if that's maybe a speeding in the pit lane by just a track limit case there. We've got Dar in the pits now from P16, so perhaps Yogurt will gain that position back again. So looking at the track map there, it looks as if Yogurt's just crossed the line there just now, so he should gain that position back, which indeed he does. But yes, I think the eyes at the moment are on at the front, so it looks as if it's pretty close between Ass Turbo and Inky Chris there. They are both lapping at a very similar pace and just 2.5 seconds off the lead coming through that penultimate corner. They're lining up this last corner. Again, trying not to scrub as little speed as possible off that turn. Lining up that straight. Inky will be looking to try and get in that draft as much as possible. See if he can. In fact, he has got the inside of Ass Turbo there. They are side by side as they go through. Very slidey, a little bit squirrely coming through the exit of that corner. Gives him the inside for the next corner, which looks as if Ass Turbo has pretty much stopped fighting that one. Inky Chris gets up into P3. We'll see if he has the pace to push up and catch up on Tony Clifton, but they are very close to one another there. They are. Tony Clifton, in fact, is within a second of the lead now, but it looks as if it's Inky Chris that's on the charge right now, looking to make amends from the first race there, and hopefully pull in a healthy number of points there to keep this championship fight alive. Yogurt having a bit of a disaster again in this race, so that is not going his way. He has got his work cut out for him to be pulling in the points and bringing the fight to these guys for the rest of the season. Just coming across the final corner there, crossing the line, so let's have a quick look at his lap time there. 152 there, so not a slow lap by any stretch. Still not quite on the pace of Tony Clifton and Inky Chris. It could have been part of an outlap as well though, so we'll see if he improves in the next time around. But yeah, holding P16 there at the moment. It's not where he wants to be.
It's under a second now. Tony Clifton catching up to CLF Bickliffe very quickly. Now we see a train of 4 cars heading down the first turn, and he's letting them go.
It looks as if Clifton has taken the lead. It looks as if B. Cliff has just thought, I tell you what, I'm just going to be sensible at this. You guys are faster. I don't want anybody to be taking me out by accident. If I can bring this home in a P4, that is a very solid, good result for B. Cliff. So I think he's just move over, let these guys through, let them fight, preserve a P4 rather than potentially being taken out. So good, sensible driving in my opinion there. Clever racing. 3 wide into the final corner, the straight corner at the end of this back straight there. A little bit of contact between Tony Clifton and Inky Chris, and it's actually Ass Turbo that is taking the advantage at the moment there. It's still anybody's race at the moment there. There is still over 20 minutes left remaining here. These guys fighting hard as if it's the last couple of races here. Getting the car a little bit slidey on the exit of some of these corners here. But this is Ass Turbo currently in the lead, getting a good result in race 1. Inky Chris looking up the inside there, got a good exit on that last corner. He is in the inside there for this double long left-hander, and it's Tony Clifton with a big out-braking manoeuvre, but not quite able to make it move stick there. Inky Chris was turning in, so he would have probably potentially made contact there had he not have put on the anchors enough. But again, good driving, he avoided the collision there. But this battle is still, even though the laps were about a second difference between these guys and B. Cliff, B. Cliff is still right there. So he's looking just to consolidate his P4, perhaps sit back from these guys, see if these guys take each other out, take advantage of any problems up ahead. I don't think, the fact that he moved over and let these guys through, I don't think he will be aiming to challenge the cars ahead to try and gain a position back. Having said that, he has done. I don't think that was from him trying to gain a position. I think that was just a bad corner by Ass Turbo. I think B. Cliff is literally just going to sit there and kind of follow these guys the best that he can, make use of that draft and tow. Perhaps just easing off the gas there to let Ass Turbo up on the inside as they look as if it's going to be another 2 wide into that slow corner. B. Cliff does indeed kind of just pretty much hand that position over to Ass Turbo just now, but as we've seen before, It's a sensible thing to do at the moment. They seem to be falling over one another. So he's still in contention, despite the potential lap difference in terms of lap times. He just wants to follow these guys, get dragged along in their tow in the draft. Might help him just improve the lap times as well. Follow these guys, find their braking points and turn-in points. See if he can even improve his own lap times there. But currently, Inky Chris P1, followed by Tony Clifton. As Turbo still very close to behind Tony right now in P3, and it's these guys having charged pretty much from the back of the grid up to the front. 20 minutes remaining, so we're only halfway through the race at this stage, and these three are fighting hammer and tongs. Yogurt makes a move up to P15 now. He is running in the 52s, so I don't know if Cars may be holding a bit of damage there, because I was kind of expecting him to be in certainly low 52s, if not 51s. And Tony Clifton have a spectacle look around the outside of Inky Chris there. Looks as if they might be too wide coming into this left-hander here. Inky Chris just giving him room, but holding it round the outside. Might compromise his line through the right-hander there, so Tony Clifton getting a good run on the exit. And also Ask Turbo right in the slipstream of these guys. Again, they're too wide. Inky Chris holding a very defensive, very right-hand side of the track there. Tony Clifton outbrakes, but Inky Chris having the inside line that will swap to the left-handers, so giving Tony the advantage. Inky Chris gives him the racing room, holds it around the outside there. There's three wide there. They've got to be careful, need to be aware of where everybody is. Don't get those wheels locked together. As Turbo kind of perhaps thinking that survival is probably the better strategy here. Backing out, letting these guys go through. Inky Chris holds on to the lead currently. Tony right behind in his draft, having a look round the outside there, but it's a long left-hander, slow speed, will easily favour the inside driver. Incredibly hard to be making a move around the outside there. Inky just holding a nice, clean, tight line through the inside of that corner. Tony opening it up a bit more there, able to carry a little bit more speed there coming through that right-hander. And coming through the final corner, Ass Turbo right on his heels. Tony getting a slightly better drive out of that last corner there. Inky going instantly over to the right hand side to defend that inside line for the next turn on turn 1. Ass Turbo holding the left hand side there. Looks as if Tony's going to pull out to the outside of Inky there. They are side by side going into turn 1. Who's going to be the latest of the late breakers? Tony Clifton seemed to be really strong in the brakes so far, but he has managed to just hold it round the outside, not lose any time there. Put his car in a position for being on the inside of this left-hander there. Again, that'll switch back around on the right-hander there. He's trying the cut-back process here. He has put it on the inside on the back straight. He has carried more speed. And then Ass Turbo has carried even more speed and double jumps them both into the right-hand side on this back straight. Has the inside line for this next heavy braking zone. He survives everything else throws at him and currently holds the lead. Inky Chris and Tony Clifton side by side. Inky Chris making a look up the inside there. Ass Turbo giving him room. And B Cliff is still in the fight. And they're moving, and actually that looked as if that was Tony Clifton moving over, perhaps not aware that B Cliff was actually as close as he was. And these guys caught up in their one little three-way battle. And it's allowing B Cliff just to keep right in the tracks of these guys, just ready to pounce on any mistake. Again, I don't think he's going to be particularly aggressive in hunting for a move or trying to overtake. I think he's doing the sensible thing, just sitting back, following these guys, and quite happy to pick up any places that are donated to him. So that is a fantastic battle. As I say, just over 16 minutes now left in this race, and racing like this is exactly what I want to see. Respectful racing. Just watching UCAT here, I'm pretty much convinced that he is on a pad there, looking at the little set of twitchy front wheels there and the steering input there. Again, having a super solid race here, currently P9 there. Lek not far behind him here. There's a battle for 8th, 9th and and 10th, excuse me. Looking nice and clean here as they come through the final corner there to start another lap there. 16 minutes left on the clock. It's probably going to be a equivalent of about 8 laps, just under 2-minute laps. So I'm expecting about 8 laps, so not long with these cars. Lek pretty strong on the brakes there, just closing the gap up to Mucat up ahead, holding a nice clean line. Just with the pad driver ahead, just see it being a little bit twitchy there, but under pad control. It will also cause the tyres to scrub a little bit more. He's left room, but it was actually contact from Lek behind, and he's sideways on in the back straight corner there. Managed to get going. The 2 cars behind getting past cleanly round the outside there. He did the right thing, just sitting still until there was a bit of a gap in the traffic there. Got going again there, and will be back up to speed within no time. That's kind of put a little end to that little battle there. Mucat still pretty close to the back of it's Mr. Ferret up ahead there, the red one there. Just a quick catch up on their pole sitter for this race, Twisted, currently down in P13 there. Perhaps struggling a little bit there. And we can see the inputs on Mucat here as we go driving on board with him here. It's very much a kind of digital input there. So a huge amount of respect going out to Mucat for this very impressive display of driving. When you consider everybody else on that grid, I am pretty certain will be on a wheel. So, yeah. He's doing a very, very tidy show of what you can achieve even if you're on a pad against other wheel drivers.
Also, considering the conditions of the races, we've got a pretty sun going down on Dubai, as we have a time progression, yes, going there in this race, opposite to the previous ones, which been going normally. But here we see now the sky going a bit dark. Obviously those cars don't have any lights. The track should light up though.
Going a little bit wide there on the exit of that corner there. I don't know if that will end up being a potential time penalty there. He's keeping the foot in, so perhaps not. He is in the tracks of Mr. Ferret up ahead. Don't think he'll make a move. I think he's just kind of pulling out to the inside just to kind of make him aware. But Mr. Ferret has pretty much said, I don't want to fight that. I'm just going to let you go up the inside here. But again, with the track bending round to the left, he then inherits the inside line for that corner. So they're now looking if it's side by side. Mr. Ferret, I think, is just, I would rather drive my own race, keep clean, out of trouble, not fight others, and just bring back a solid result. At the moment it's looking as if a P9 is definitely achievable right now. A bit of a gap, 6-second gap to Paul behind him there. So he has gone up the inside of Mucat there just now. He is not letting go. He's certainly not giving up without a fight, so yeah. As we can switch back up to the front guys again there, we've still got Inky Chris in the lead there. They are currently running 1 minute 52s, and we saw before they were doing 51, that's turbos in the 51. But
CLF's still just behind.
They're definitely battling so much they're slowing each other down, and as again it's falling into B Cliff's hands perfectly at this stage. He's able to run his pace, which is the same pace as these guys when they're kind of tripping over themselves, so he is still very much in with a fight here of a potential podium. Does not need much. He's able to keep up with these guys right now, so if any one of these make a mistake, end up spinning or taking each other out, that's going to be a podium position, I suspect, for B Cliff. So just needs to keep himself clean, just keep himself exactly where he is right now. I think that is very smart, clever racing, in my opinion. My kind of driver, to be fair. I am not one of the fastest drivers. by any real stretch.
Neither I am.
But I gain my positions and my results out of potentially strategic driving and maybe clever driving as opposed to outright pace alone. So having the mindset of having a look at the bigger picture and saying, okay, I don't want to force and potentially gamble a position away, a strong P4 right now with a potential podium, by fighting these guys and tripping myself up. I'm just going to follow you guys and pick up any scraps. I suspect at this stage he would be very happy with the P4, but as I say, anything can happen. There's still time for these guys to make a mistake. He goes a little bit wide on the exit of that corner there. Again, I don't think it's going to be a time penalty there, judging by the fact that he's kept the foot in it. So he's just able to gain that position and gain that time by following these guys. Perhaps they're all in 1:53s in that last time around. In fact, he's got up the inside of As Turbo there. As Turbo making a bit of a mistake. But again, going too wide there. Oh, he's gone very wide around the outside of that left-hander there. Again, kept the foot in there. Currently still holding P3. I think he has just let the gas off and braked early. He's let As Turbo go. I don't know if that was a potential time penalty warning that he picked up there and had to let off. But As Turbo now having dropped back, perhaps almost a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds there from kind of getting slowed up there. I suspect he will be back up on these guys before long, with these guys kind of slowing themselves down. We know that each of them are pretty much capable of 1:51 lap times, and they're currently doing 1:53s. Perhaps that's an element of tyre wear, tyre degradation happening there. That obviously they're not pitting for fresh tyres. But no, we can see Inky Chris and Clifton back into the 51s, so tyre wear does not look to be an issue. They're going to be shedding weight in the form of fuel. So as long as those tyres hold out, the cars should technically be getting quicker as they go on. But if they're battling and fighting and going side by side, then that is not going to help their case. Checking As Turbo there, he's currently about a second and a half there back. Now, whilst Inky Chris and Tony Clifton are not actually fighting side by side at the moment, they're able to put in those 1:51s. So As Turbo is going to have to drive probably about as best as he can to try and catch back up with these guys. Hope that they fight one another and slow each other up, so that he can get back into contention. It looks as if B Cliff has fallen off the back of As Turbo as well, perhaps having to serve that slowdown warning to avoid a penalty, and kind of proving my point that if you're able to just sit in with these guys, as I caught a glimpse of somebody up ahead of these guys, a back marker moving off the track to right hand side, he will be getting a blue flag there. I'm not sure who that is. PBL. I suspect being in last place.
Yes, that is PBL.
It is indeed. He has kindly gone very off track to avoid getting in the way there. And he rejoins there just on that last corner there. I think that's actually his teammate that's just about to lap him there. But yes, let's have a check on the lap times here, see if we're staying in the 51s indeed. Just a little bit quicker there. Inky Chris just managing to put a little bit of a gap, just about half a second on top of Tony Clifton there. But Clifton's in the draft there, he'll gain a little bit here. He seems to be very strong on the brakes as well. But it seems that Inky Chris was maybe a little bit tidier on the exit of these corners there. So conserving that speed is probably one of the key things on these cars. Trying to carry that speed through the corners, they take quite a while to accelerate. So if you can carry that speed through the corner rather than having to brake and then accelerate to gain that speed back up again, it will gain you an advantage on that straightaway. So Clifton certainly not far behind. As Turbo with a 1:52 there, just a little bit off.
Someone's around.
It was. Who's that? Is that the next place. Is that Rob? I'm going to predict that was maybe Rob, which was currently P17.
I think that was Kiss.
Is it Kiss? That could be. It could well have been Kiss. I don't know if they've managed to get past. But Tony Clifton right on the back of Inky Chris again, looking on the right hand side coming through this, maybe trying to sneak up the inside now. He has indeed. He's proven to be strong on the brakes again, but Inky Chris defends on the inside line, holding a nice, clean, tight line again, opening up the exit as much as possible, carrying that speed through. Tony taking a slightly wider entry into that corner to open it up, and they're coming into the final corner here. This again is going to be slowing themselves down if they're fighting and defending, so this will allow As Turbo to catch back up again. I think if we have a look at these lap times, they'll be in the 52s, which indeed they are, and it's As Turbo that's now in the 51s, so lap times being reversed now. As Turbo getting clean air, not being slowed down by anybody. No draft to help him here, but yeah, just not having any fighting and battling going on is allowing him to gain the best part of a second in front of Inky Chris. And Tony looking up the inside, a tiny touch on the wheels there, front and rear, between Tony and Inky Chris. No harm done there, didn't really affect any of them at all. Able to complete the rest of that corner without any issues. Tony back in the slipstream there, Inky Chris holding an inside line there. He's going to move to the right to be defensive. Hold that inside line there. Tony still again a bit late on the brakes there, but not quite late enough there. Inky holds P1. We have 4 minutes left to go. It will be 2 laps after this one is completed. Inky Chris still holding the whole seat at the moment there just now. Currently P1. Clifton P2. As Turbo P3. B Cliff still in a solid P4 right now there. No real threat from anybody behind him. Looks like it's Jack Gamer, which is P5 at the moment there just now. Looking as if he is pretty much all on his own. 6 second gap ahead to B Cliff, and a 6 second gap behind him to Cameron there. Let's have a quick wee check on anyone else. So Cameron's kind of had a pretty decent race this time around. Not really been able to follow him that much because there's been so much action in other places in the race here. But yeah, a solid race there from Cameron. Mewcat has picked up the penalty there. He's currently P9, a couple of seconds off the back of Mr. Ferret there, so it's a 1 second penalty there. 2 second penalty for Yogurt, who is struggling down in P14 there. He's currently running a 153.6 there, and well, if Twisted is doing 157s, which he is in the last lap, then he should catch up on him, I suspect, in the next lap or so. But yeah, I think as we can see, As Turbo has indeed caught back up again with Inky Chris, and Tony Clifton is now in the lead. We missed that switch of position. Inky Chris looking as if he is going past again. He's holding an inside line. As Turbo getting that double draft up in the middle. Is he able to brake a little bit later? No, he's a bit more sensible in that. Plays safe, falls back into P3, just trying to open these corners up as much as possible, letting these guys fight. Might even leave it towards the last lap or so. Coming into the right-hander here, he's trying to take a wide entry, open that exit up as much as possible, get as good as exit as possible. Tony Clifton now holds the lead there. Inky Chris right behind him, side by side with As Turbo as they come through into Sector 3. A long left-hander there, flat out, no problem. Heavy on the brakes there. Tony Clifton on the outside. Inky Chris not quite close enough up the inside there to make a position, make a move. They are coming through the penultimate right-hander here onto a short straight past the pit entry lane on the right-hand side there. Into the final corner there. Again, As Turbo taking a nice wide entry to kind of carry as much speed through, and you can see him gaining on Inky Chris. He is in the draft. Inky will probably go defensive, but he doesn't. He wants to sit behind Tony ahead of him to gain the draft from him to stop As Turbo from slingshotting him past. But As Turbo's on the inside. Inky is making it very difficult. But again, As Turbo plays safe. He's probably quite happy with the P3 right now there. He's ready to pick up any places he can. We are on the final lap here right now. Tony Clifton in the lead. Inky Chris not far behind. He's right on the back of him. A little bit of a scruffy line through there went in behind him. He really wanted a good exit there to kind of get a draft. I can see Ass Turbo getting the draft here, and in theory actually a double draft down that back straight there. Inky Chris having a look up the inside. Tony did not defend, he did not go defensive on that one. Inky Chris puts it up the inside of that right-hander there. They will then switch back to the left-hander. Inky has the P1, but Tony has now got the inside on the left-hander. But as Turbo's coming charging through, Inky Chris on the far right-hand side, it's 3 wide. Inky Chris holds P1, tight line round the outside. Tony Clifton gets a fantastic drive on the exit of that one, and he slingshots round the outside of Inky Chris. Inky Chris is in trouble of losing that lead down into P3 because Ass Turbo's making a charge. It's coming into the final sector. The long left-hander here, slow, hard on the brakes there. Try and get it up the inside. Nice tidy line. Tony Clifton has done this before. He has defended against Ass Turbo. Coming through this sector here, it looks as if it's going to be a double win for Tony Clifton. Inky Chris making a potential move up on the inside there, but he has lost the lead on the last lap or so, last couple of laps, and dropped down to P3. Tony Clifton is your winner for race 2 as well as race 1. Ass Turbo comes home in a P2, and Inky Chris rounds out the podium finish.
Inky Chris decided
something.
to smash his car into the wall.
Doing something after he's finished the race. But B. Cliff pulling in his fantastic 4th position there. Jack Game 88 holding a nice solid P5 there. Cameron converting P6. He has got a time penalty there, but there's a long gap to JJ behind him there. JJ coming across the line there.
I think Atomic forgot actually to remind the guys not to crash after the race because they are on stream. So we see quite some severe scenes here.
Yeah, JJ's shedding some light weight there. Mr. Ferret converts a P8 there. Mewcat, our pad driver there, bringing it home in P9. Lek in a P10 along with Paul in P11.
That was also a close fight between them. We didn't catch every single moment of that though.
Yeah, and we apologise for that, but the battle up the front for the top 4 positions, the top 4 drivers, was super intense. Fantastic racing there.
And Gyogurt recovered to P13.
Yeah, he's
not a great race. Again. No, obviously a bit unlucky.
And you never know at the end of the season when a handful of points might make a difference. He's given himself about as hard as possible job as you could imagine to claim the championship, as he perhaps catches up on his teammate that's probably been knocked out from hitting the wall quite hard. But that is your second race for tonight there. Tony Clifton, your double winner, race 1 win and a race 2 win, extending his lead on the championship. A perfect night out racing for Tony tonight. Ass Turbo getting 2 second positions tonight as well. Fantastic result for him. He will definitely be steaming into P2 in the championship there now. Inky Chris recovers from the first race, did not start, disconnect, to pull in a very good podium position there. Looking at those lap times there, again, they're all very close to one another's. It is Ass Turbo that converts the fastest lap of the race with a 150.698. Cliff, very sensible driving there to bring it home in P4. Did exactly the right thing there. Perhaps not quite having the pace of those 3 guys ahead, but from smart driving was able to keep up with those guys and hold on to a very good P4. Jack Game looks as if he had perhaps a bit of a quieter race there. I think it was about a 6-second gap or so, if not more, between him and Cliff ahead, and also Cameron behind there. Cameron brings it home P6, JJ in P7, Mr. Ferret brings it home in P8, Mewcat with the pad holding on to P9, and Lek rounds out our top 10. That was some fantastic racing at the top there. we will see if anybody would like to have an interview. I would love to speak to some of the guys that certainly at the top there that were involved in that fantastic battling. I will see if anybody is in the ready to interview channel. We do indeed have Inky Chris, so we will see if we can pull him in. Hopefully Tony will come in as well. But to start with, we will bring in Inky Chris. Mr. Chris.
Hello.
That was a battle.
Wasn't it?
That's probably some of the most entertaining racing I've seen for quite some time.
Yeah, pull that one out on the highest day of the year, didn't I?
Congratulations on the result.
I've always championed slower cars creates some of the best racing. But that was swapping positions every lap, from being in the lead on one lap down to P3 in the next lap, back into the lead, back into second, backwards and forwards, changing
back
positions.
into P3 on the wrong lap, right?
Unfortunately so, but not quite to be, but still a solid recovery and a much improved result over race 1 tonight.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, my internet just dropped changing races, and I was like, oh, okay, well, guess I'll just watch this one. But yeah,
very sad to see.
Wow, that was really intense. That's when VR really comes into its own, because there were so many moments where I was millimeters away from Tony, to be honest, and I was just looking over my shoulder and being like, "Oh Christ!" there's the front half of the car right there. Yeah, that was absolutely mental. Pretty exhausted, to be honest. Quite frustrated that I didn't manage to keep him behind all the way. But
it was constant racing. It was constant battling, and you're slowing yourselves up an awful lot.
Yeah, I was losing like 2-3 seconds a lap. I think for most of the race.
I think sensible driving might have been a case of like, I'll just sit behind you for 5-6 laps, get away from everyone else, and see if we can maybe fight at the end. But with these cars being so slow. Mm-hmm. You almost can't afford to let anybody go at all or sit back.
No, that's it. Because I knew
go all out.
Yeah, I knew Tony was faster than me. Although for some reason he didn't get a faster lap.
He didn't know it
was which was odd. But he definitely had the pace. I could tell. So
yeah,
I just thought if I just keep backing him up, because obviously these cars, you can't just bean it around the outside. So if you just keep on the inside of all the corners, then kind of don't really have anywhere to go. Sadly, I just under braked slightly too much into turn 1 on that penultimate lap, and he just managed to dive down the inside. Or managed to kind of open it up, and then from there it was, it was a losing battle really, but great fun.
So do we have any more questions?
On one turn, kind of compromising your exit and allowing other people to carry a bit more speed on the exit and kind of get past on the next corner.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some fantastic driving, great to see. Obviously, Tony's going to be extending his lead in the championship by a massive amount there with 2 wins tonight.
Yeah, I think that's game over there, I think. We'll see.
Robert obviously didn't have a great race on race 2
I think he got
either.
Caught up with someone, apparently.
I suspect he was carrying damage. His lap times were not quite what I was expecting out of him. So again, not a fantastic result for Team Alien.
No.
Giving yourself a bit of hard work to do for the rest of the season for the next 4 races.
Yeah, no,
not impossible. If you're getting some wins and podiums.
I don't know who Tony's teammate is. So.
We can pull that up and have a quick look.
How are they doing for?
So Tony Clifton is teammates with JGP, and JGP is currently, or was coming into tonight, 8th in the championship. So at the beginning of the night, they were 21 points behind you. Obviously, you've only scored your points on that race 2 tonight.
Yeah.
Whereas he's pulled in at least 100 points for that double win.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't recall what JGP did. I don't actually recall where he finished, or if he's under a different name in race.
He's JJ in the race, pretty much the same name.
Okay. See if I've still got the results there. No, I don't. Just moved on, but never mind. So, yeah, a bit of a challenge, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens next race. Take it a race at a time.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we can
do the
only
best
hope
you
for
can.
another battle like that.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
If I can survive.
That's exactly what we're looking for in these races. So
yeah, that's why we turn up. So
fantastic.
at the end of the day, that was probably the
Exactly.
best race I've ever had. I think on this game.
Very
So,
entertaining.
yeah, glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, no more disconnects in races, please.
No, ideally.
And let's
Doesn't
see if we
happen to me
can.
very often.
No, indeed. See if we can bring a bit of a fight. Yeah, 4 races left. It's going to be a challenge to get up to the top end again in front of Tony, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
Hit up the constructors. Hopefully, still some chances there. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I've lost control of my machine. I can't move you out of the channel and get anyone else up in 2 seconds. There we go. Okay, we'll move you back out again. We'll see if we can have a quick wee chat with Atomic.
Thank you for the interview.
No worries.
Mr. Atomic.
Hello there.
Fantastic racing tonight. You've got to be happy with those results. 2 second places.
Wasn't second, so I don't know who you were looking at there.
He wasn't second.
Was I? Where am I getting confused with?
No. I think I was 11th and 12th, I think.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, was it your teammate?
Chris is already out of the track.
Yeah. But no, it was a brilliant race. Yeah.
As I was saying to Inky, it's the format of having slower cars just generates much closer racing. Is that something you feel that you'd agree with, coming from, obviously you come from GT3 leagues, jumping into these races, maybe a little bit easier to drive, although they looked quite a handful in terms of being quite slidey, getting a maximum out of the cars, but certainly looked fun. Does it look as if it was perhaps a bit closer racing out on track?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I think the slower cars definitely have that close wheel-to-wheel action. The Renault Clios were the same, and obviously these things are pretty similar as well. But yeah, they are a little bit of a handful. They like to oversteer quite a lot, especially when you boot it on the power. But it's all manageable. It's not too bad.
Excellent. Let's just have a quick look, see where you are on the championship coming into this race. Looks as if you were
P15.
You had a disconnect on race 2 there, so that put a bit of a hammer blow to your.
Yeah, that was fine. I was on the last lap and got disconnected.
Oh, a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, but 2 still pretty decent results tonight, and probably, in my opinion, which is what I do the racing for, is the fun aspect of the racing. It's just entertaining to watch, and I'm pretty certain it's entertaining to actually drive and be part of.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
That second race was probably one of the best races I've done in a long time. Starting from 5th and battling with all the aliens that were coming through the field, and then I was having a good scrap with Mewcat and I think it was Darth Cyrus, for like 7th, and that was just incredible. Really, really good fight. Really enjoyed that.
Fantastic, excellent. Well, I would certainly encourage to watch the stream afterwards, because the battle up the front was that was pretty intense. The 3 of them swapping. In fact, pretty much the top 4 actually swapping and being nose to tail for a very long time. Some fantastic racing there.
Oh yeah,
but excellent. I'm glad you had a good race and you enjoyed it. I will pop you back out again, and we'll have a chat to the next chat in the Registered Interview channel. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Andrex, and Dominooo as well.
Yep, thank you for the interview. So we have one folk to interview.
Indeed, and here he is. How did that race go for you tonight?
Could have gone better. I had some nice pace, but things didn't quite go to plan in the end. But yeah, no, it was good to fight. Some good close battling, and more pace than I thought. But I enjoyed it despite the incident.
Okay, was there contact, or was there issues or carrying damage, or
the second hairpin I think we were 3 wide, and I just got a little bit too aggressive on the throttle and lost the rear end, and that put me, I think, I can't remember who it was, but I got a bit damaged and I had to pit, and that was that really.
Nightmare. Yeah, they seem to be a little bit wild at times. These cars, they're kind of on edge on a lot of these corners in terms of being quite twitchy. And you find it's a bit of a handful at times.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes it was a bit unpredictable. So occasionally you'd go around and it feels solid as a rock, and the next time you're really struggling to get the traction down. But yeah, I think it creates some exciting racing, and like we saw some really close battles and some great midfield battles as well. So yeah, no complaints at all, really.
Excellent, good stuff. Where are you in the standings at the moment? There, just is your forum name different?
These 2 rounds.
Oh, is it? You're okay? So you're not on the championship tail there, but yeah, have a fantastic race so far. Obviously joining late, it's going to be see where you end up, I guess. Just take each race as it comes and do the best you can, and try and gain as many points as possible, and kind of climb your way up the ladder, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. As long as I can have some good battles, and I've got my sights on sort of like top 7 sort of things each race. So yeah, if I can do that, I'll be happy as anything. But we'll see what happens. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
Excellent, indeed. So 4 races left to go. Is that your kind of goal at the moment there? So holding in P7 finishes thereabouts, maybe trying to hopefully get up to try and attack for the top 10 for the end of this championship?
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, but I'm not really looking at the championship as a whole at the moment, because I know it's only, I think it's 1 or 2 races late, but I'll just look at each race as it comes, like you say. And yeah, I think if I can get consistent top 7s, even top 5s, I'll be really, really happy. So yeah, that's my target.
Excellent. And it's always nice to hear that people are out there racing for the enjoyment of it and the fun, rather than just trying to focus purely on if I'm not winning, I'm not enjoying it. But no, that's great to see.
Yeah,
and yeah, we'll see how you get on next week, and see how your progress goes through. Good stuff.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Oh, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the interview.
Cheers. Good night. Okay, folks, that pretty much wraps it up there. I don't really have any way of calculating the standings after tonight's race straight away, but they will be updated on the forum. So if you are keen to check that out, then definitely make yourself jump onto the Apex Online Racing webpage there and check that out. And if you'd rather take part rather than just watch, as I say, you're great to have anybody watching. But the more cars we have on track, the better. So if you are interested, get yourself signed up. We can do a kind of evaluation race and do a time trial. And yeah, we should be able to get you on the grid and hopefully racing as soon as possible.
Yes,
but I think that pretty much closes the show for tonight. We will be back again for the next race next week with some more hopefully fantastic racing like we saw definitely for that race 2 for tonight's race.
Yep.
Anything else that you want to add in?
Yep, we'll be back next week for Sportsland Sugo, another twisty track, Japanese one. Could pretty much bring another racy week for us, and
Indeed.
a lot of fights as well. And
indeed, and it looks as if there might even be some weather being thrown into the mix as well. It could very well be rain on race 2, which is the feature race. Looking at the standings there. So yeah, we've got a clear or a dry race on race 1, and it looks as if it is a wet race for race 2. So that could throw some cat among the pigeons for sure. But yes, coming back in next week, tune in for some more Formula Rookie racing. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Please leave a like, subscribe, make a comment in the comments below. Yes, and we will catch you next week.